Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jamie. And tonight we are doing a pretty heavy, big topic that may make us all uncomfortable. We're going to have to talk about some of our own shit too. But this is about breaking patterns using magic. But really, first, you have to recognize the pattern. So this is a shadow work episode for sure, 100%. And we're calling this like, you are the wild one. If you are already knowing that you're a witch, or suspecting that you are, or you're listening to witchy podcasts like this, you already know that you're different. And we want you to be the breaker of the patterns. We want you to have the strength, the know-how, the recognition to break free from patterns that are super unhealthy and that are just keeping you down. And Kat and I have both personally experienced this, I don't know, many times in our lives. And we're hoping...
My whole damn life.
Your whole damn life. All your fucking lives.
All my fucking lives, yeah.
I think that when we get to a place in our life where we're ready to practice witchcraft, this is something that naturally happens where we start to see the unhealthy things around us, because witchcraft will normally bring you back to a place of, here's what's good and happy and safe and fun and feels like love and joy towards myself. Because witchcraft is not about other people. Practicing witchcraft is not about other people. It is usually a practice for yourself because you want to get better for you. Understanding and recognizing, I want to call them bad boundaries, but boundaries in general. We're going to really dive into, what are your boundaries? Are they healthy? Are they unhealthy? What do they look like? Let's assess them. Let's show you some examples. Let's talk about mine and Kat's own shit that we've been through in our lives and how we've had unhealthy boundaries or bad ones or just non-existent at all because we didn't know any better. And it's a learning game.
And I think the thing that brought this up for us is we just recently experienced with someone close to us going through another breakup with a friend.
Friend breakups.
And her realization that this is something that needed to happen. And she, they've been friends for a long time and they've broken up a few times over the course of their friendship.
Yep.
But I think this time, this breakup came with an acceptance that this friendship no longer works. This friendship no longer works for me because it's harming me. It's making me,
stopping her goals and dreams.
Yes,
it's like it's a deterrent,
impeding on my peace and my, and where I want to go in my life. So this just happened in our friend group, and we witnessed this, and to see her have this, like, it was a revelation. I was surprised. I was surprised that it was like the final blow, right? That whatever happened was the final, because these two people were really, really tight and, for a long time. And they almost think they fed off of each other a little bit in some of their things, like friends do, the back and forth stuff. But her realization and then also acceptance that I need to move on from this. Yeah, this is not healthy for me anymore. And it reminds, so that's the thing that kind of like prompted this whole episode and what we're talking about here, is because from outsiders, we could see the boundary blurred, I think, in their relationship.
Yeah.
We could see how things were muddled and how, there weren't boundaries in some areas. And so I felt really proud of her that she came to that on her own. Nobody told her, "Oh, you need to get away from this. This is bad." It was like the thing happened, and she just, I don't know if it was an epiphany or if it was just like, this is it. I'm done. This is the third or fourth or fifth or whatever time that this has happened, and I can't anymore. I'm done. I gotta move on with my life.
And I feel like this happens not only in friendships, because I've had one that I also let go of several years ago, but it happens with family relationships. It happens with, romantic relationships. It can happen at work. This is relationships across the board. So when we're talking about boundaries, your boundaries can be crossed at any point, wherever you're at with another human. And not just your boundaries being crossed, but you could be lacking boundaries and not even know it. And so the same shit keeps happening to you. And you're like, why did I end up in this situation again? Don't I know better? Haven't I been here before? If you have said that to yourself,
why do I keep picking the same asshole guy?
This episode's for you. If you know somebody who's like this episode is for you. Because today I used my whole psychology thing, and I was like, yeah, let's really break down boundaries, because I think that, number one, we don't all get examples of what healthy boundaries are. We just don't grow up with that knowledge. And how do you know you have healthy boundaries or unhealthy ones? How do you know that you're not self-betraying or self-sabotaging? Like, there's so much to it that I feel like this is a very good shadow work. I should tag this one as a shadow work type episode. I think
so too. Yeah.
Because this is about you being the wild one and knowing that. So I really love this term, the wild one, okay? And the reason that I love it is because we're not afraid to break free. We are not afraid to break down the fences. I think that when you choose a path that has such resistance, like witchcraft, there's so much misunderstood. Anything in the occult is kind of like, ooh, we don't really know about you. Well, I'm okay with you not knowing everything about me, and I'm still going to do it anyways. So I wrote this little thing that says, we are the wild ones because we dare to step out of line, to explore our deeper desires, to dream without permission, and to dance like nobody's watching. I think that last part is from a song, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But it's using alliteration in all of the dreams, desires, I can't help, deeper, all the things. I just think that when you're already on this path, you're looking for ways to make your life better, and understanding boundaries and then learning to exert them is a huge fucking step up. And tonight we're going to kind of give a little educational thing on that, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And we talked about, like, where can this happen? This could be, do you find yourself in the same fight with your spouse, like, over the same thing? It's like, why do we keep repeating this fight? We're going to talk about that. The same drama happens at work. Say you've had, like, 3 or 4 or 10 different jobs, and it's always ending in the same way. There's always, like, office drama around the same thing. And you find yourself in that same situation. Having the same fights with family members because they don't respect your boundaries, or because they tease you too much about something that's not a fucking joke to you, or give it what you will. And I think that we just start to feel like we're living in a loop. Like, where is my safety at? Where is my comfort? How come I can't find peace?
I think, I can remember feeling like super defeated because I really didn't, I didn't recognize that I had issues with boundaries until way late, until way after the fact. But I can remember feeling just really defeated in my romantic relationships. I'm like, why am I here again? Why is this happening again? Why?
Same conflict, same problem.
Same conflict. Like, here I am again feeling like, I can't really trust this person, because there's something that they're doing that's fucking shady, like turning off their phone when they're gone, something like that. I was like, oh, my phone's, oh, really?
My phone, I didn't have a charger.
I didn't have a charger.
Plugs. Yeah, okay.
Or staying out all night, It's like, I wasn't doing anything. I was just at the casino, playing slot machines, shit like that. So, but I remember feeling pretty hopeless, defeated, and like I couldn't change things. This was before I moved here. This was in my last relationship. But also, my mother, I've chosen not to reach out to my mother for a long time because we have a long history and it's not good. And at this point, I just think I'm okay with the way that things are. I don't need to go try to repair things because they're not repairable. You can't undo time. So that's a boundary that I have with her, but she's the same way. She didn't reach out to me either, so it's mutual.
It's family dynamics, man.
Sometimes, and I think some people's belief is that it's your family. You have to have a relationship with them.
There's
no,
pressure
the fuck
there.
you don't.
There's pressure.
No, the fuck you don't. If people don't bring value into your life, if people make you feel worthless or less than, or in any way just not good about yourself, if that's how anybody in your family makes you feel, you have the choice to not have a relationship with them. That's your right.
You don't owe them anything.
That's your right as an adult. You get to choose who you want to have in your life. And you'll see a lot of people that are estranged from their family for that very reason, because there was always been some kind of a conflict there. And that boundary that they had to set was walking away, because there wasn't, the family wasn't going to respect the line that you drew in the sand on a particular, like, I think of my brother teasing Jolene, and just,
for sure.
Like,
no, that was shitty.
What the hell? That was really fucking shitty. And so,
And it wasn't like a 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. It was like after probably the 6th time, and we'd had serious talks with him, like, hey, we don't find this funny. It's not, you should stop. We finally were just like, yeah, you know what? We don't want to hang out with you anymore.
Yeah, so now we don't go to the little gatherings every year. Him and his family get together and rent a place by the beach for a week and invite us up and stuff like that. But you know what? After too many times of, that kind of stuff, it's just like, it's not worth it. It's not worth my peace of mind.
No.
So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. And so it can be family. It can be, of course,
romantic.
We see this a lot in intimate relationships. Like
100% easier.
Like,
I think those are the two that it can really be the hardest to walk away, to set your healthy boundaries, to recognize
my God,
them.
yes.
It can be so difficult, especially when you grow up without having healthy boundaries and you don't know about them.
Yeah.
How do you know what you don't know? You don't.
You don't know.
So this is like what normal is. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this specific topic, because it took me a long time understanding my own boundaries and understanding what is healthy and right, and when to, the words, put your foot down and like stand your ground, and have to walk away eventually, because you keep yourself in that same situation, they're not respecting it. There's going to have to be an end to it somehow, because you can't keep getting bombarded with, whatever it is that they're doing. So I think the things that we're going to really touch on in this episode, it's part of your spiritual practice to do the shadow work like this, to grow yourself, because the more that you know yourself, the more powerful you're going to feel about yourself. So this boosts your confidence. This is your self-esteem, your self-image. This is your confidence walking out into the world and knowing who the fuck you are. Like, this is reclaiming yourself as a person, as an individual, as a soul having a human experience. You are not your family. You're not your spouse. You're not everybody else. Every one of us chose to come here and live a life design, and that doesn't mean that we have to be with each other every second of this plan. Sometimes it takes walking away. So there's so many branches that we could go off into this, and Kat and I are going to try. We're going to try really hard to focus and just like
to stay focused.
Stay the course.
It's hard though, because this can be a really big.
Oh, it's a huge topic.
This can be a huge topic that has all kinds of little legs that go out.
Absolutely.
It touches all parts of our life, and it's really
even with your children. I didn't even mention children, but when you're raising kids and they get to be a teenager, and then they start fucking crossing your boundaries, and then like it's a whole thing.
Or when they become adults.
And when they become adults, I mean, your adult children. I mean, that starts to get into family, but there's no part of your life that boundaries do not touch, because it is. We're gonna get into the definition of boundary. Okay. Let's stay focused. Sorry, we're jumping ahead already because we're so excited, but I really want to help you break free from patterns that you get to recognize. And we're going to help you recognize them, because we're going to give you real examples and like things that you would think, see, do, hear, say during these examples. But before we go blaming anybody else for all of this stuff, okay, this is why this is shadow work. Before we blame anybody for all of our bad situations, we need to make sure that we're looking at ourselves and our habits. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about is poor boundaries, or what is known in the psychology world, collapsed boundaries, which means that they were never there in the first place, or if they were, you didn't know. And this is the number one most reported problem in relationships for women, is the fact that they have poor boundaries or collapsed boundaries. This is for women. This is us. And I think of many reasons why this might be. I mean, we sacrifice. We're caregivers. We are that whole thing of like, we're the caretakers. So yeah, it's not always fair for us. Like, we just don't even always ask for it to be fair. We're like, no, I accept my role. That's fine. I know.
Well, society we've been trained. This is your role as a woman.
Yeah.
And
it's examples.
And And
Yeah.
you know what? I think we're finally, here in 2025 and even before that, but especially now, we're moving away from like, that was the template that all the women before me, and even maybe my mother was raised that way, I was raised that way, but you know what? That's not working for me.
And it's not to say that they fucking liked it. That's the thing. You know what? I know that my grandmother got pregnant early so she could get out of her own house because she didn't like that whole thing, and so she figured out her own way out. And this is part of it. You don't want to live the template that somebody else is setting for you, so you try to break away and do your own thing. That is why I called this You Are the Wild One. Break the template, break the patterns. Whatever you've been living in, whatever you were raised with, break that shit if you need to. So,
all right, so let's define boundaries.
Yeah, let's define the boundaries, okay?
Boundary is a line where you end and someone else begins.
And you have to really think about that. A boundary is a line where you end and someone else begins. Kat and I have a very good saying for this. Observe, don't absorb. When you absorb somebody else's shit, their feelings, their emotions, feeling responsible for them, that is a blurred line. That's a song, and I don't like that song, actually. That's a blurred boundary, okay?
Yeah.
If you are constantly absorbing what other people are going through in your life, broken boundary.
Boundary is a limit that I set to protect my peace, values, and needs. That's huge.
That's huge.
That
protecting
that
your
is
peace,
like-
value, and needs.
There's so much in that statement.
Oh, we have 3 more podcasts.
There's
that we
so
can talk
much
about
in that statement. Okay, but we're not going to get stuck there.
No.
So think of it like casting a protective circle around
Yes.
yourself. Think of a boundary this way.
Yeah.
Like casting a circle around yourself, a protective circle around yourself. You decide what energy you allow in and what shit stays out.
Yeah. We're so quick in witchcraft to be like, protect yourself, do protection spells, protect your house, protect your space, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Boundaries, the real thing, the psychological relationships that we have with all the people around us, that is protection work also. To know your boundaries, to set them, and to stand by them so that you can protect yourself, your peace, your values, your needs, all the things.
And the reason why this is a shadow work, why there's so much shadow work involved in this, is because this really takes you to look inside and say, where's my responsibility in this?
Absolutely.
These things that are happening, they're not happening to me. I'm allowing them to happen to me because I can't, or it's too hard.
I haven't yet.
Or I haven't yet, or it's
Yeah.
always been like this, and so
Yeah.
I just accept
This is normal.
it, even though I don't. Yeah, or it's become normal,
I'm
even though
undeserving of the other thing.
yeah, just all of these things.
Unworthiness,
So
yeah.
I know that this isn't fun, but this is, but, and also, so to say it's not fun, but it also is something that is probably not, if you're going to find yourself in one of these situations that we'll talk about, it's not something that you can it's not a switch you flip. It's
Not
a process
usually.
that you get there. When you finally are you finally fucking put your foot down and you're like, I'm done. Like our friend that we just talked about. She's
Yeah.
like, this has happened. This is like a repeat performance of stuff that's happened.
It's a repeat pattern.
It's a repeat
The person
pattern.
has shown a pattern.
Yeah. And so
it's not changing.
Yeah, so it's hard to get there. So
Yeah.
sorry if that's you, if you're going through that shit, but we all do though. And this is how we grow.
When Kat said, it's not a switch, but the switch is the decision that there is no more. The switch is the decision that you won't tolerate anymore. The aftermath of that takes practice and time, because you
Yeah.
can make your decision very clearly in one moment and be like, this is never happening again. That's it. I'm
Right.
fucking done. But what happens, so that switch gets flipped. Decision is made. You make the decision.
Yeah.
Now you have to put it in action. Now you have to
You have to
stand
put it into
by
practice.
it.
You have to put it into practice.
Yes, that's a better thing.
You gotta
That's
put
a better
it
way
into
to say it.
practice. You gotta
do the thing.
Draw that line and not let, or put that protection circle around you and not let people in
Yeah.
who have been crossing your boundaries
Yeah,
and who've been
absolutely.
disrespecting you or not treating you like you deserve to be treated. All right.
So how do we know if we have good boundaries? It's a very important question for us to ask ourselves. We all should know, do we have good boundaries?
Yeah, well,
And it you know what, it probably is different with different people, because honestly, I probably don't have the healthiest boundary with my son. I still maybe want to hover and do too much for him. But I talked to him about that. I'm like, listen, I love you and I love that you're here. And I'm going to help with your laundry, but I'm not going to do it all. Like, I have to say that, right? Like, I'm not doing everything for you. Like, I'm going to make your meals and I'm going to switch your laundry over, but you're folding that shit or something. Like, that's my boundary right now because, Cameron.
Well, so how do you know if you have them? I guess it's like in your relationship that you're thinking about, like, is this healthy? Is this how it should be?
But see, healthy, there's so much perception that comes into it if you haven't actually been taught. So I'm gonna give some words right now. Okay. And I want you to think about these words. There's healthy compromise, okay? So we're compromising with our partners, with our family, with our relationships, with our friends. We'll compromise. So, all right, well, my girlfriend wants to, like, go to the club and get drunk and be out till 2 a.m. I'm like, all right, well, I'll do that once with you. But then you got to get up and do sunrise and paddle boards and be on the water with me, like, the next weekend. That is a healthy compromise, only if you're really actually okay staying out till 2 a.m. drinking at a bar. But if there's healthy compromise where it's, you
give and take.
Yes, the give and take.
Mm-hmm.
Or
balance. There's balance.
And you can call it balance because you should, again, we're recognizing patterns in ourselves and other people. Are they constantly being like, no, we're going to do what I want. No, I don't want to do that stupid shit. I'm not getting up in the morning. I can't get up in the morning. And they'll make all the excuses for themselves. So if we have the girlfriend who wants to be drinking at the club till 2 a.m. and your partner does not appreciate that, it's like, I don't want my girlfriend, wife, best friend out in the bar till 2 a.m. Like, that doesn't look good or whatever. And then you want your friend to do the early morning stuff with you. And she's like, I can't get up early. It's not my fault. Oh, that's super unhealthy. Okay, so you can't do the things I'm asking for, but I'm going to keep going along with what you want. So we've got, is there compromise versus do you have the self-betrayal where you're betraying your own needs, yourself, your values, what you want. And by self-betrayal, I want you to own that, okay? I want you to think about how many times you're not speaking up for yourself and what you want, and you're just like, well, yeah, I'll just go along with what they want. That's fine. It's easier. I don't want them to be mad. I don't want to cause problems.
That's the thing. We often do that because it is easier.
We don't want conflict.
We don't want the strife that comes along with, kicking up dust and saying no.
This is huge. So in boundaries, self-betrayal is where you know that you have boundaries that are being crossed or you don't have any that are set. The self-betrayal. So I really want you to absorb that word right now.
And the things that you're betraying are things like
your needs, your
needs,
morals,
your beliefs,
your dreams, your goals, your desires.
Yeah, all of those things, yeah.
Say somebody wants you to give up your whole life path because they're like, I want you to, I don't know, I'm a woman, so it's like, I want you to have a kid now. I'm like, fuck you. I have like so much more I want to do before I got that responsibility on me. Yeah. Like, that happened to me. I got married at 19 for no reason at all other than it was like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, you're going to fly out here. Sure, I'll marry you. But he immediately wanted to have kids. And I was like, whoa, that's way different. Like, having a child with a whole, like, responsibility. I'm 19 years old. Cannot do that. And definitely not with you because this is just, like, pretend for me right now. Like, I had to start admitting things to myself that, why was I doing this? This was unhealthy. I just said yes because I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know I was like, oh, I don't want to reject him. He's like done all this stuff already. Like, ooh, how bad would that look? Unhealthy boundaries on my part, but at least I knew enough that when he was like, I think we should have a kid, I was like, I think you're fucking crazy. So that's not going to happen. Yeah. You can know your lines in some ways and other ones it's like, it's wishy-washy. So I have found that, like, you can have really good boundaries in one area and not so great boundaries in other areas. Just saying.
I feel like women especially, because just the nature of our roles in society. I think
so much influence.
I think it can be confusing for us to really understand, like, what are my boundaries? Like, where's my no-go past this point anymore? Because we do, I'll speak for myself, I did tend to tolerate a lot of things that I was like, well, I guess I just have to accept this. I don't like it.
Ooh, I have that literally written down too.
Okay.
So the two parts that we're looking at, I just want to reiterate them really quick so I can get myself back on track. But we're looking at the healthy compromise. This is how you know if you have like boundaries that are not good. Do you have healthy compromise, or do you have more self-betrayal? Betraying yourself feels like you're not getting your needs met. You're not doing the things you want, your goals, dreams, desires, hopes.
Sacrificing. You're always the one sacrificing.
What are the things that others are helping you do versus you're helping them do, give to them? Healthy boundaries. That's what we're getting into.
Okay.
All right. And Kat had said, but this is like, it is tangled with culture and gender conditioning and trauma. This is why it's a very difficult subject. This is why it's extensive online. And if you're feeling any of this, please Google it. I mean, you can start finding answers there for little things, and there are good snippets and stuff. Like, we could probably do a whole year worth of podcasts on something like this, but I really want to give you guys the quick information now so you can start changing and recognizing it. I mean, like, oh shit. Yeah, so I'm not crazy. I am right. This was bad. This isn't normal. This isn't supposed to be this way. So we're going to start with the self-betrayal, and we're going to do some examples. And I know I had you down for this, but...
Self-betrayal.
Yeah,
okay.
Starting with that self-betrayal, like, what does that look like? What happens when we're in that self-betrayal state?
Well, you mentioned, going out. So when in my last relationship, he was a night person. I worked all day. But when I met him, of course I wanted to be out with him and he wanted to be out. So I would go out and stay out till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then the next, and had to be to work at like 8. And I was like, I was very tired. But I wanted to participate in all the fun stuff. I didn't want to miss out on that. But his thing was like, no, we won't go out tonight because it's a work night. No, it was like, we went out and sang karaoke 5 nights a week. We were in the bars 5 nights a week singing. And that's what we did. And, it led to, not good things in my workday, like me not being as alert and on top of shit as, I'm really good at my job. But for a while there, I was kind of flaky. I was kind of flaking out about it. And my job was really important to me. And
it was your identity, actually.
It was my identity. Yeah. And so eventually I had to, I had to stop doing that. Well, now he's going out by himself. And I'm just like, well, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Yeah, so...
Well, that's abandoning your own needs, desires, and independence. Yeah. So by giving into all what he really wanted, or what, even though he said he wouldn't, he was like, no, it's a work night, so we won't do that. That didn't stick.
No.
And you ended up giving up what you needed, which was sleep and stability and like to be able to show up to your job on time. Yeah. So all these other areas of your life started getting affected.
Yep.
Because you didn't have a healthy boundary set with that. Because if you had set that healthy boundary with him early on, your relationship would have ended pretty early, probably.
Yeah, that's the thing that would have happened, is the relationship would have ended. And for whatever reason, I thought, whatever, I didn't think, honestly. I was like, I'm having fun, I'm going with it.
So when we talk about...
I paid for that later on, by the way.
Yeah. When we talk about that self-betrayal, it is, we're abandoning our needs. We're abandoning our desires, the things that are important to us. And even at some points, we're abandoning our independence, which I have seen with women is giving up their independence because they're like, well, we should have a family. I'm like, having children for me was like, that was giving up an independent part of myself. I knew that I could never make a decision alone again. Like, a guy, come and go. Marriage is okay. I know it sounds fucked up, but like, marriage was a piece of paper to me way long ago, and I didn't care. But having a child, like, you're committed forever to that little being. And that was how I felt when I decided, like, oh yeah, we're going to start a family. So I thought we were in that together. And no, it falls on the woman. So that's giving up your independence when you decide to go along with somebody else's plan. For the desire thing, like, I think about friends. I have desires to hang out with witchy women, and a lot of my relationships isolated me to where it was like just him, just his friends, just what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because that's what was going on, and it felt like he was in charge, and I don't even know why, you guys. It's not like I've reflected over this a lot, and I think it comes down to I really wanted him to see how incredibly wonderful I was and to love me the way that I thought I should be loved, and I kept thinking, if I give him all of me, then he will give me all of him. It will be like, if this,
it'll be
then
reciprocated.
That.
Yeah.
But it
doesn't work out that way.
No, it does not work out that way. If you give everything, they're like, oh, look, I don't got to do shit. And she's still here like at 120% for me.
Yeah, and I think the hard part, especially in our romantic relationships, is that what we're avoiding is we don't want to admit that this relationship,
it's not working.
that this relationship isn't good for
True.
us. And so we make excuses
True.
for it, and we
for whatever reason,
we erase those little lines that, we do things that we're like, don't really want to do because we've invested ourselves here, and we're like, this is my future, or we want it to be our future, or we're so in love at the moment, and we're like, I'll make all these sacrifices. I know I'm very sacrificing in relationships, or always have been. I do and will do just about anything.
And that doesn't, I gotta say, for you, just an observation, that's not just for your romantic relationships. You did that for us growing up. Like, all the sacrificing you did to raise us and give us, to take care of us and be on our own.
Yeah.
You do that for your job. You take vacation, and then I will still find you at your fucking computer working. I'm like, what are you doing working? You're on vacation. Get off that computer. So Kat might have blurry boundary lines for many things. She's a sacrificer, I guess.
Yeah, I am.
But because those things
it's a pattern in my life, you know, and it's really, really hard to break. I have like weeks and weeks of vacation now that I have to use for. We're in September, and I've got like 180 hours of vacation. That if I don't use it, I'm going to lose it because I haven't taken fucking vacation all year.
Because she feels guilty if she's not there for people, which that's coming soon. So why do we abandon our needs and our desires and our independence? Because we want to avoid confrontation. We want to avoid rejection. We don't want that relationship to end. We don't want to lose that person. We don't want to not have the thing that we desire, right? We think that...
Well, I don't want the fight, I'd rather just...
The confrontation,
I'd rather... It's easier to go along than to try to stand, for me, it's easier for me to go along than to stand my ground and try to get him to bend to my will, which, by the way, I knew he wouldn't. And so there was the thing that was churning is like, if you draw this line in the sand, he's going to be like, yeah, whatever. I'm out, right? And you're like, wait, no.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, that's, that I've been there in that place way too many times.
So even with I want to bring this back to family really quick, because I think with my mom being my mom, her family, they're quite odd. They're very odd. I mean, it was never family feeling when you were around them. Like, except for my Uncle Mike. I love him to death. But we weren't raised with him. We found him later in life. And now we're so close. I've seen that uncle, who I only met like 4 years ago, more times than any of my other family. And he's willing and he's lovely. And he's just like, he's such a great guy.
And he wants a relationship.
He wants a relationship.
Yeah, he's like very family oriented.
I think that's a really good thing to consider, is that if you are not getting reciprocation, like, is that a fucking word? Did I just make that up?
No.
If you're not getting reciprocated feelings, time, compromises, then it's already doomed. Like, unless you want to commit to being that person that is just living your life for somebody else, relationship, family, work, whatever.
This is one of those things, if you're listening and there's too many women, I feel, have a gut instinct. There's too many women that are living this template, where they're sacrificing. Especially if you're my age, you might have come from that generation that's like, that's what we did, right? Because that's what was modeled to us.
That's what you were taught, yeah.
That's the model that I saw. Yeah. So if this is where you are, this is facing this is difficult, coming to, like admitting it to yourself, and then realizing what that means once you admit it to yourself, that you have to do something about it. So it takes time and some processing and some shadow work and a lot of thinking, a lot of I think
reflection.
A lot of reflection.
You do need to try to get clear on your situation. And if that takes, like me, okay, so you guys know I'm Virgo rising, so I have a bit of a, obsessive analytical side. There were times in my relationship with my son's father, because I did want it so bad, because I did not want to be a single mom, because I told myself I would not repeat my parents' mistake. Big sigh, because I did. Because I did, and I was really trying to like make it work so I didn't. But it was only me working on that. I would literally keep a fucking journal of, here's when he went out, here's when he came back.
Oh my God,
For
that's what I used to do too.
No.
Are you fucking
Because I
kidding?
didn't want to feel fucking crazy when I would bring it up.
I felt crazy too. That's how I felt.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have that later. So these are the things that we do in order to prove to ourselves that we're not being dramatic and making shit up, and that we are not, falsifying our memories and all this shit. Like,
Right.
I wanted to be so on point. I was like, I will fucking record you leaving the house and you coming back, and I'll have timestamps on that shit. I will be the most detective person in the world to prove I'm right, to show you that you're wrong. And yet, all I needed to do was put up that fucking boundary, and I would have known for myself. But that's where the reflection comes in, is that you've got to be really honest with yourself. That's the hard work, is that you probably already know, and you just don't know how to act on it. And there ain't no part about that that's easy.
Or the part, that the acting on it is going to bring this whole other life, or all these decisions. It's going to change things. It's going to shake things up a lot, and that's scary.
It is.
Because that's scary.
It's just scary.
Yeah.
So there's sort of, now that you know, right? Like, all right, so here's the self-betrayal part. Here's where we know we're denying ourselves and we're trying to get the other person to do something and, live up to what we're doing, maybe. But here's the little things that you're going to see for yourself, that you're going to feel, that you're going to recognize if you do a little bit of reflection, that your voice gets quieter or disappears altogether in the relationship, because you just start agreeing to everything, because you're like, I can't even fight this now, like I'm just in it, and there's no boundary now. Because you're just in it. I mean, I know that for me, I have, like, when I'm done with something, I go silent, but my silence is because I'm plotting to leave. But there's this other silence where you get silent because you know that there's no argument.
It's like the battles, you've lost.
You say things like, it's just not worth it to bring this up. Okay, well, he didn't come home again until 3 a.m. and fuck it. Like, it's not worth it to bring it up. So you're quiet. They never listen, or they're never going to listen. Again, you've had this argument so many times, it's never made a difference. You're just like, yeah, all right, well, this is life now. That acceptance, right? There's no compromising with them. If you have ever said to yourself, where you were talking about a person, friend, coworker, family member, romantic relationship, there's no compromising with them. Boundaries are being crossed. That they're not listening to your needs, your wants, your desires, your hopes, your dreams, your goals. If they are not listening to a compromise, if they're not willing to give a little, it's probably already over, and you just don't know it yet. Like, you're gonna have to be the one that breaks off and breaks away and like gets free of it, because they're just gonna stay and keep sucking up your resources.
That's the thing. That's the funny thing about this, is that all the people that, it's you with the boundary, and them, they're like, oh, they're just going along, like living their lives, happy as fucking lark, and you're over here miserable as fuck because you're sacrificing everything. So this is when we're still talking about your voice gets quieter. So the next thing is overriding your gut feelings. Like, I can remember just the feeling in the pit of my stomach of that. I felt a lot of anxiety when this stuff was going on, when like he was going out and staying out all night, and it was very anxiety inducing. And I could say to myself, this is fucked up, but I wasn't doing anything about it. But it can make you feel like you're crazy, like you're tolerating disrespect, which you are, which I was. Yeah. But in the thing that was more important to me than all of these other things that I was going through, that I was being put through, was I was clinging to this relationship. That's the honest truth when I look back on it. I was so because it had been really good in the beginning, and I had this,
There was euphoria.
Like we tend to do. We go back and like, oh, during that, first 6 months or that first
If it
year.
could only be like the beginning.
Yeah, if it could only be like that. And we want to go back to that. And so we keep hoping. And then we end up tolerating a lot of shit that we shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's all the self-betrayal. We start making excuses. We also start making excuses. Oh, gosh, he was, he had a hard childhood. Or, my friend, her mother's really fucked up and treats her terrible. So she really can't help the way that she acts.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. I feel so sorry for them.
They're going through a rough time. Yeah. But if that rough time is lasting like years, I guess I should say this. Just because you do break off a relationship, because I broke off a friendship way back in like 14 or 15. I let that bitch come back in like 2017. Like 3 years later, she hits me up out of nowhere, fake name, everything, and starts trying to chat with me. And I already had a suspicion of who it was. And I was like, all right, it's been 3 years. Maybe you've grown. Maybe things are better. And I let her back in my life for about 2 years, maybe 3.
Yeah.
I don't know, 3 at the most.
Same thing.
Same fucking pattern, same habits. And she had had a child by this time. She had gone through a super abusive relationship and had like crazy shit happen to her. I was like, oh, well, you have to be grown from that now. But she got down here to Florida and acted the exact same way, atrocious, appalling, just about herself, cared about nobody else, and it was who can do what for me. And I'm like, I gotta let this go. And there wasn't even like a fight. It was just like, I gotta let you go. We got nothing in common. And she fought for that shit for months. I was like, seriously, I don't want to be friends anymore. And that was even the weirder thing to do, is like, you didn't have some blow up fight where everything went wrong.
Yeah.
I literally was just like, one day I'm like, we're not a good fit. We should not be friends. Like, we have nothing in common, and I actually think you're bad for my family. I don't really think that you belong around them. So there was that. I mean, sometimes you just know, you're like, let's just go our separate ways. I don't know. I don't think this is working out. And as friends, that feels weird, like you're breaking up, but sometimes you just gotta like let them go. I mean, you could ghost them. That's fine too. But I'd been with this girl for, been with her. We lived together several times in our lives, raised our kids together. Like, there'd been a lot of stuff.
A lot of history.
A lot of history. And I did. I loved her. I cared for her. And I made a lot of excuses for her. So that excuse thing comes up.
Yeah.
It's not her fault. She had family members die. She was abused. She's had all the things that have happened to her that make her a fucked up person. That's like, but I know inside of you there's a good person. I've seen it before. That does not override all the other ways that she is crossing boundaries left and right, not only with me, but with my family. It was like, you're not a good fit. You've got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just gently repeating it to her, and then like blocking her on everything, and then keep blocking her. And
the interesting thing about her is like, she kept trying to come
and she will. There'll be years, I bet you, in the future, she will come back.
Oh, I know. My ex has come back around too.
Every time.
My ex-husband from...
Oh my God.
My ex-husband from...
The ex-husband.
The ex-husband, yeah. His wife passed away, and of course this was my 6.5 year toxic relationship when the kids were really young.
Where he abused the fuck out of all of us.
Yeah, he was verbally abusive and sometimes physically abusive, but he was really... He had a fucked up childhood, and he brought that shit into
We have excuses for him. We do.
But it was true. His dad was really fucked up, and you know what? He just, instead of saying, I'm not going to be like my dad, he acted like his dad.
Yeah.
But anyway, I divorced him in like 93, and then he went off, eventually got married again, and he was with her for like 15 years, and she died about, I don't know, now it's probably been a year ago, and he reached out to me. And he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, what do you want? Like, why are you up in my fucking DMs and shit?
Not up in the DMs.
And then he's like, well, I just thought you might be able to use a friend. And I'm like, not you.
Yeah, never you.
You're not a friend of mine, buddy. And I blocked his ass because I'm like, absolutely not.
He also reached out to her children, not me, but other two.
And, the last one, too, I saw the pattern with him. I saw him, when we would get in fights, he would go call up, like, old girlfriends that he had relationships with and go, whining about fighting with me.
Fucking sob stories.
To get his ego stroked and shit like that. I mean, I saw that happen. So I expect that he'll come around, even though I've blocked him everywhere. It's like, but I won't engage with him. he just reached out to me not long ago that his mother was sick and probably going to die in the next weekend or something, and I didn't respond, and it felt really kind of cold-hearted to do that. But you know what? That was a boundary that I needed to set with him. I cannot
100%.
engage with that man. I cannot, and I will not. That's my boundary. That's it.
Yeah.
And it took me a long fucking time to get to that point. But there it is. So
I had a similar situation this year. Cameron's Nana died, who we were very close with, and I did not want to go to her wake because I just did not want to see his dad. I do not ever want to re-engage I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to be anywhere around him. And she knew that. Like, so all the times that I would go there to see her, we would make sure that he was not coming over. She lived in Louisiana, him in Texas. And the day that she invited him, you know, without telling me, I was like, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be here when he's here. I do not want anything to do with him. And
because he has no boundaries. He's still trying to hug up on her and kiss on her and shit like that.
I would take him back in a fucking heartbeat or something. I'm like, he's so delusional.
With her husband for like 10 or 11 years now.
He's so delusional. Yeah. And there's just so much. So what was interesting is when I told her that I was leaving, she called him up and was like, do not come. I had to set my boundary and like, I will not be here. You're not going to expose me to this. I choose no.
Yeah.
And she just thought that, you know, and we're only 2 days away in birthdays. Like we're both Pisces. We feel it all. We're very close. But she was hoping that I would just go along with it, an easygoing person that I am. And I am that way normally. But this is something that she has known for years that I do not want to be around him at all. Don't want to be in the same room with him. Nothing. And she tried to kind of like side door that shit. And so even when she passed this year, unfortunately, and Cameron and I both being heartbroken about it, but it's like, I'm not going to go because I still do not want to be around his father. I just don't want to do it. Yeah. And so that's my boundary. So even I respect her. I love her. I've talked to her through spirit many, many times, but when you set your boundary in place, don't let anything tell you that it's fucked up or it's bad or make you feel bad for it. I think that's what it comes down to. People will try to make you feel bad for like, oh, really? Well, you didn't do it because of that. It's like, listen.
Well, you can even make yourself feel bad. Like when my ex was like, guilty, my mom's dying. I thought you might want to know. Normally, you know, I mean, if this had been a few years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Right? Well, no.
Nothing.
No.
Yep. They deserve nothing.
Well, yeah. After so much shit and after me healing from it and just realizing how much fucking time I wasted on there and how much shit I put up with and how much I sacrificed and where I could be today if I hadn't just all these things. I'm like,
the things.
Oh my God. You know, it's like, no. Yeah, no. We're done.
So I do want to read really quick because if this podcast so far has been helpful for you guys, I want to give you 4 directions to shoot off into so that you understand the boundaries. I don't want to call them bad boundaries, but like lack of boundaries and where that comes from. So I'm going to describe 4 situations and I'm going to give you the actual term that we use in psychology. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to read this off really quick.
Oh, is it the attachment you're starting?
Is,
okay.
Yes.
The psychological roots for poor boundaries.
4 psychological roots for poor boundaries. Okay, so the first one, this is called attachment trauma. If love felt conditional growing up, and I often think about this with you, and I don't know, but love feeling conditional while you were growing up, you learned to sacrifice your authenticity for that connection. It means you had to hide who you truly were so that you were accepted. This doesn't just happen in family circles. This happens with friends. This happens with young relationships. This can happen at your job. People will not accept you until you conform to their ways. So that means that love and acceptance is conditional. Okay, so that is attachment trauma. And one of the things that you might say to yourself or feel is like, if I stay quiet and if I'm good, they'll accept me. They'll like me. So like, let's just tone it down. Fucking all of women in society, right? Like that's how we feel. Yeah. I feel like that's what we've been told to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Codependency, a huge one. People always talk about codependency, but
I think I was the queen of codependency.
Codependency means that you feel like you are responsible for other people's emotions. Okay. That means not feelings, but their emotions. That means you are trying to stop them from having outbursts, breakdowns, being unhappy, like just not feeling well, if you are around somebody and you're like, hey, are you doing okay? Are you all right? How are you doing today? And you're actually concerned and you're like, let's cheer them up. Let's make them happy. Let's keep everything good. That's codependency. You are taking on the responsibility for somebody else's emotions. Codependency. This is a thing that we think when we have codependency issues. If I prioritize myself, I'm selfish. That's such a selfish thing to do. Like, ooh, I'm worried about me. No, I need to worry about everybody else. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Codependency. People-pleasing condition. I am queen of people-pleasing condition. It's not only in my fucking zodiac signs, but like, it is just, I don't know. I was naturally born this way and I'm good at it. And so I was like, look at my skills. I actually used to think this was a fucking positive about me. I used to describe myself like, I'm a people pleaser. Fucking hell. Okay. So that's my rant. Okay. 10, 15 years of therapy and I'm better now. Especially in women, we are taught that being easygoing and lovable is like the accepted thing to do. Look, oh, she's so great. Everybody's going to think she's wonderful. Oh, go to her. She'll take care of things. She's so dependable. She's always there for everybody. All the good things that people fucking say about women, that we're so caring and good at these things and blah, blah, blah. Which means that we have no energy for ourselves because we're taking care of everybody else. That was what was like, yes, you want to be a people pleaser and easygoing. That equals people will love me and want me to be around. I'll be wanted and accepted again. On the other hand, if you were being assertive and stating your needs and being like, I don't want that, I don't agree with this, I'm going to be confrontational, they're like, she's bitchy.
Yeah.
She's bitchy. Yeah.
She's a bitch.
She's a bitch.
Why are you being a bitch?
Why are you being so bitchy? Are you on your period? Yeah. What's wrong with you? Is it that time again? Okay. The last one is fear of abandonment. And this is rooted in our reptilian brain. So we already have a tinge of this because biologically it's just ingrained in us. But if you also had situations growing up, this is like a big one. Fear of abandonment. It's self-betrayal feels safer than the risk of rejection. That means you will do anything to stay in the eye of acceptance for whoever you're around. Whatever room of people, if you believe that you're a chameleon and can fit in with everybody, just a little bit, maybe. Fear of abandonment might be there because you being able to mask and change yourself to fit all the situations means that you'll always be accepted. And I learned to do this a lot. I can play with the best of them, but I trained myself to do that so that I could get my way. So I use it in the opposite way because I needed to make sure that I was safe and I knew what people were doing and I knew what was going on. And it's like, yeah, that's easy enough to do. Just like get to know everybody. So there are kind of two ways that you can play that fear of abandonment one. One, you use it as like a superpower where you're like finding everything out about everybody so that you feel safe because you can know what to expect. Still not a healthy thing, just to let you know. But the other one is just that being accepted by everybody feels safer than the fear of getting rejected. So the class clowns, honestly, fear of rejection is that's a huge thing. Fear of abandonment is what they have. Okay, so those are the four. I wanted to read them to you very quickly. I hope that was kind of quick.
Yeah, no, it was good.
But this is what leads into all of our unhealthy boundaries, is because those are the big four that we usually are exposed to early on, and then we use those. Those are the things that we would be, air quotes, diagnosed with if we went to a psychologist and be like, oh, you have a lot of codependency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are some things that you may recognize, some patterns of self-betrayal that you may be able to recognize in these next statements. Chronic resentment or exhaustion in relationships. Like, my God.
Is somebody always draining the energy out of you? Because I feel like there's been friendships, there's been workplaces, there's been family members. It fucking drains you to be around them and you're like, oh God, I'll go do this again. Put on my happy face, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're masking it.
Loss of identity, like feeling like you don't even know who you are. You've given up your own identity. You're at the expense of someone else, or for the expense of someone else. I'm not sure I'm saying that right.
Well, I want to give an example with that because I tell Cameron this one all the time. Like, I've never been a drug user experimenter. Like, alcohol, yeah, sure, okay, I underage drank and all that. But, like, never drugs. And when I moved to South Carolina and I was with his dad, everybody did pill parties. And I'm too scared to experiment with drugs. And I remember when I knew I was losing myself is because I went to another house party, right? It's a small town. And I actually considered taking a pill. And there was always pressure on me. Like, Jamie, just try one. Like, you're going to be fine. Everybody's fine. Like, blah, 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 blah. All the pressure. And for years, I didn't do it. And I remember thinking one night, I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll try ecstasy. Or I think that was it. I don't even know. But I remember thinking, and I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm going to lose myself completely. Like, what kind of mom is Cameron going to have if I start using drugs? Like, I was so afraid of losing myself in that situation because I thought, all right, well, what if I do? Like, it'll be easier to get along with everybody. Then I'll be having fun, and I'm not the only one here being sober trying to watch over all these stupid idiots. That's when you know.
Yeah, I think the loss of identity is when you've, like, really given up a part of yourself that you're, like, that was a core value for you.
Huge part of myself. I was like, I'm never going to fuck with drugs.
Like, you're never going to fuck with drugs, and then you find yourself considering it. And
because I've been in that environment so long, I was like, I was losing myself to that. And people did Percocets up there, but I'm not. That's the one that made you, like, really relaxed, and you look like you were slurred. I don't know.
I don't do pills. I'm not into pills, or wasn't into pills in the time that I was into other things. But okay, so always minimizing your needs, like saying things like, "Oh, it's not a big deal." Sometimes we do what I want to do, like making excuses for the other person. So and just kind of like pushing your needs down, and so that they're not being met. Feeling like you're walking on eggshells. Hello, marriage number 2 with the asshole that just called me a year ago. That was my whole not just me, but my kids too. We were walking on eggshells with him because he was volatile, and you never knew what was going to set him off. It could be fucking a dust bunny on the floor or some shit like that, and he'd fucking flip out.
Vacuum lines not being perfectly lined up.
Just stupid ass shit, because he had problems. Internal dialogue of like, oh, I can handle it, while you're silently wishing that somebody would show up for you.
Yeah. Like, you're kind of waiting on the one day this will change, but you keep telling yourself you'll handle it. You're like, no, I got this.
You're waiting for, waiting
for the tower card.
So, you know what? It's not your fault. So, we need to say this out loud. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. And
that's key.
That's what's hard about this topic, is that we have to look inward and say, where's my role in this? Like, I can look at all of my shitty relationships and say, those guys were really shits, right?
And that's not wrong. They are.
And that's not an untruth. But what is also the truth is that I picked them.
Well, you had a part in it,
and I stayed, and I stayed, and I had children, and I got married, and I spent years, trying to make these relationships work. That was my choice. Nobody forced me to stay there, and I just didn't want to deal with what was on the other side of that, which was the unknown of not being with this person at the time who I thought I really loved, and that I really thought that I wanted this relationship with. And I was hoping that, I kept hoping that, one day, I said about my first husband, I was like, if I just wait till he's 35, he'll grow out of this.
Oh my God. I remember having Cameron. I remember moving from South Carolina back to Kansas, thinking, if I move him out of this area, he'll change. Then moving from Kansas back to South Carolina, thinking, okay, no, we were definitely better off in South Carolina. Like, it was worse in Kansas. And I just kept thinking, like, if I got him out of around some people, he would be different.
Yeah.
And then, his fucking friends and family all said, well, when you guys have a baby, it'll be different. Like, he'll mature. No, he got fucking worse. Like, it was a terrible thing to listen to people that kept telling me, just wait it out. Oh, men need 5 more years than women to mature. I was like, okay, great. So when I'm 35, he'll finally be 30 and fucking have his shit together? Like, is that what I'm waiting for? So I understand the way you hear all these things also. God damn it, the advice of other people are so crazy.
I had 2 kids with my first husband. That was Jamie and Jolene's dad. And, we made this, like, whole life together, and we were young when we met. And so it's like a whole romanticized thing. And I mean, we had a thing.
It was
right?
a novel. It was a movie. It was a book.
You know, it was. I mean, we were just
TV show.
we were like so pretty together. You know, we just looked like we were just.
I love that you say that about your guys' life.
Yeah,
that's so sweet.
And but you know, but there was a lot that I tolerated during that, and I just, because I loved him and I wanted it to work, so I gave up a lot. I gave up a lot of myself by the, you know, I spent all of my 20s on that relationship, and
that was not having the healthy boundaries set because you didn't.
No.
I mean, that was a choice. Now you're saying like that was a choice, which is
that was
you know,
a choice. That's
understandable.
That is where when you're looking back on either your current situation or something in the past, where you have to admit to yourself and then accept that your role in it. That's, you know, that I think that's when the healing can start, and that's when the changing can start. When you can finally look at yourself and accept your responsibility in it, that's when you can start to change. But if you're always looking outside of yourself for like, oh, why is this happening to me? Then you're not going to be able to change it. So that's the hard part of this.
It is. We're just going to reiterate that because I really like it. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to, you know, make a shift, to change something if that's what you want. It is on you. It is not on the other person. Yeah. We don't change people. People
don't change for us.
I mean, not usually. No,
they don't.
it's not
I mean,
a thing.
I've never had anybody that was willing to change for me, and I gave up everything thinking that I would get that in return, you know, and that it would be reciprocated, that kind of sacrifice would be reciprocated, and I think
it would be acknowledged, honored, and reciprocated.
Yeah, yes. And at the end of it, I think part of my processing through the end of it was feeling a lot of resentment that I had sacrificed so much and I had gotten so little out of it. And I blamed the other person when really the fault was my own because I was the fucking one who stuck around for so long.
True. We think that we're going to get something out of that.
I'm 66, you guys. Please don't wait. Don't wait till you're 60 or 50 to fucking do something about. I'm sure women are listening to this now and going like, oh my God. Yeah. I totally relate
It's so hard when you're young. It's so hard when you're young. I mean,
but women, I do feel like younger women are getting smarter.
I think so.
Because they've seen now their grandma, their mom. If you guys had girls, they would have witnessed their grandmother, then their mother, and then I can just see them being like, oh fuck no, that's not going to be me. Because they've seen the pattern and they're like, oh no, mm-mm.
So I just wrote a very small little quip that says, there's so much wisdom in your stories. Please tell other women. Like, don't be afraid to tell your stories to other women, even if they are not your best moments, because there's so much wisdom in them. I tell my mom all the time, I was so much wiser at 18 because she told me all of her failings, all of her trials and tribulations, and all of her not perfect moments. She really set me up for success going out into the real world because she told me all the bad shit. Because I wasn't like, oh, I have this like, I don't know, romanticized idea of like love and relationships. Like, no, my mom explained to me how things got hard and where things failed and when it went wrong and how she had to leave. And it was like, it was all her. And so I wrote a little tiny quip, and it was like Instagram, I think. But it's just like, tell women your stories, because us as the older generation, we're wise and we know so much. Please get our stories out there. Even if you're not necessarily proud of them, be proud that you're in a different place now, and that's why you can tell that story. Like, if you want to feel like you have pride about it, do that because you changed it, because you did something about it. Young women need to hear that. They really do. They need those older, wise women stories.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they do too.
Yeah. So I know we talked a lot about all of the bad boundaries, the unhealthy boundaries, the cross boundaries, the collapse boundaries, whatever you want to call them. We're going to talk about what a healthy boundary looks like. And it's a very, it doesn't need to be a long list because we already fucking know what a healthy boundary is because we see it in other places. We are just not experiencing it. So this is how you know. These are experiences that you're going to have when you know you're in a healthy boundary relationship, whether that's friend, family, coworker, romantic. Go ahead.
It's about healthy compromise.
It is.
So it's a give and take that feels mutual.
Yep.
So
you need to feel the mutualness of a relationship. you shouldn't be saying, I get nothing from this.
Or I'm always the one giving, or I'm always the one making concessions.
I always have to take care of them.
Yeah.
I'm their babysitter.
Because that starts, okay, so that's
mutual give and take.
Adjusting your behaviors or choices, but your core values and sense of self remain intact.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that one means. Can you help me understand that statement?
So you can adjust your behavior, like, all right, you don't like hiking, but you go try it. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't go against your core values and beliefs.
Right.
But if you go to a party and everybody's doing coke and you're like, that's outside of my core beliefs and everybody's trying to pressure you into it, that is, you're changing your behavior. Like, I wouldn't go to a party normally where there's like lines of coke on the table. Something like that. Like, I'm thinking about what's outside of my core values that I don't want to participate in.
Yeah, okay.
Small example, I got invited to a fucking holiday party where the friend that I unfriended, that was the first thing that walked in. There was literally a candy dish of pills, and I was like, what the fuck? They're like, do you want da-da-da? And I was like, first off, I do none of that. I drink, so can I get a beer? Like, that, I put myself in a situation where I thought, I'm going to go to this, like, New Year's Eve party, which I never go out on, but I was like, I'll try. And so then that happens, yeah.
Both people's needs are acknowledged. So here's another healthy compromise and what it looks like. Both people's needs are acknowledged, even if not fully met.
That's right, because people can have unrealistic expectations. So just because somebody demands something of you, I'm not saying that you have to give 100% of what they're asking for. Maybe you don't want to have a threesome, okay? There's something like that out there where it's, you love me, this is a thing, we're together forever. Yeah, I want to have a threesome or some shit. Stuff that came up in high school. I was like, how such young people, I know that's a weird thing to write about, but such young people that I knew, that's what this guy demanded of his girlfriend. I was like,
really?
That's not love. Not love. So you can have the needs. Maybe he wanted to be polyamorous. That's totally fine. That's a much more acceptable thing now. In high school, it wasn't like necessarily a thing. But if you're not into that, then you've got to say it. And it's like, you have to make decisions. So your needs can be, they're compromised without things being 100%. All right, maybe when you go grocery shopping, you each bring in groceries and there's like some distribution system of things that happen. Why don't I give one of my own personal examples? When Tony and I got together, I was like, I fucking suck at cooking. I'm really good at laundry. He's like, I fucking hate laundry. I'm great at cooking. I was like, done. Relationship agreement. You do the cooking. I do the laundry. We're done. Right?
I love that.
But sometimes he does his own laundry and he's not great at it. And I'm like, don't do that again. You mess things up. And I cook and he's like, that tasted like cardboard. You should probably try something different. I'm like, things are getting done, but we're not perfect at them, but we're trying. So that's a better example than a threesome, probably.
Another healthy compromise and what it looks like, there's flexibility without resentment.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can just remember living in a constant state of resentment for all the shit that I was doing and all the shit that I wasn't getting.
Not getting enough back.
Wasn't getting enough. I was getting some back. I'm not saying that he never did anything, because he did.
Yeah.
Or they did. You know, all of them did. Or I probably would have been like, fuck this shit a lot sooner than I did.
They do just enough to keep you there.
Yeah, but just enough. But I can remember living with a lot of resentment in my relationships because I didn't feel like I was getting my needs met.
Yeah.
Here's an example. I'll go with you to family dinner tonight, and next time we'll do a quiet weekend. I need to recharge when I need to recharge.
Yeah.
So it's about compromise and give and take and equality. I feel like there's some level of equality in there where you're both getting. You may not get everything that you need, but you're getting your needs met, like with a friend, for example.
Yeah, with friends.
You know? I mean, I think some friendships can get really one-sided, especially if you're like easygoing and like, yeah, just go along and do whatever you want to do. And then you're thinking, man, I really wanted to go on this trip to wherever. And your friend's like, yeah, what? One of my friends just said, I told her I had all this vacation. And she's like, I want to go to Savannah. And I'm like, fucking Georgia? The South? No.
Savannah's nice. I'm trying to tell you, Savannah's nice.
I don't give a shit. I hate, there's too many
You don't like the idea of Georgia?
I don't like the idea of the people that I perceive to be in Georgia. And that's probably my perception of.
Yeah, I want to I kind of want to shake you right now.
The Bible Belt South, all those.
It's really not that bad.
It's not.
No.
I'm just like Georgia, Tennessee, Louisiana. Fuck no.
First off, I love all those places.
Oh God.
I don't know where you're traveling to in those states. Tennessee is beautiful.
I lived in New Orleans. I was born in Memphis, so. But that I don't remember anything about.
She's just got old shit going on then. She's lived in New Orleans, born in Memphis. Okay, well, I don't travel to Memphis. I've been through there. I don't travel there. But Tennessee has lots of beautiful places.
And I've been to Memphis too. I went to Memphis. It's all right. There's nothing great about it, but
we flew into Knoxville and went through the mountains. It was amazing.
I love the mountains.
Okay, well, fly into Knoxville, do a little mountain trip. It's awesome.
Okay. Well, let's talk about healing and reclaiming. So we've gone through all of this, right? We've given you a lot of examples. We've talked about a lot of shitty shit.
A lot of shitty shit, a little bit of good shit.
Yeah.
But because we really want you guys to be able to recognize the unhealthy places in your life so that you can make them better, so that you, as your spirit soul connection to this place, gets better for you. Like, witchcraft is all about making yourself better for you. It's a practice for you. So hopefully we've sort of educated a little bit on something. You got something out of this.
I'm just going to share with you that I'm on Threads a lot, and I see women write in posts all the time about how they were married for 35 years and they finally got a divorce, and now they're finally living the life that they've always wanted to live. They're in a little cottage somewhere by themselves, and they have a garden, they have their cats or their dogs or their horses or whatever, and they don't have a man, and they don't ever want another one again.
I'm raising my hand because I have an idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
We should make a fucking app, like a dating app, but it's like women who live in cabins in woods who want friends, and like we all choose each other.
That idea.
And we can come and stay and be like, I'll help you garden during this time, or how about I come up for seed planting time or harvest time.
I love that idea.
And it's just for the women that are like single and don't want anything to do with men.
Yeah, because there's a lot
there's no weird shit.
There's a lot of them out there, because women are finally like realizing
they're reclaiming themselves.
They're reclaiming themselves. They're being wild ones, and they're going like, I'm going off on my own.
Be the wild one. Break free. Get away. Do your thing.
I don't care what society says. Fuck you. I've given up enough of my life.
There's a different society. There's all of us, and we want to be part of your society, so we can make our own.
I love that idea for an app.
Women's society. That'd be so cool, right? Do you know how much help I would take in my fucking yard? I'd be like, hell yes. Anybody want to come learn about all the plantings and herbs and the things that grow in gardens? Like, I've thought about it so many times. Because when you have a garden, you always want help. Because there's always work to do. And it's so much more fun when you have a friend, because then you talk and okay.
Okay.
So we started to get into, now we're going to talk about the good stuff.
Yeah.
The healing and the reclaiming of yourself. Okay? These are practices that you can do to start that recovery process. I think the first one is inner child work. Because so much of our boundaries do come from the way that we were raised.
Absolutely.
That was where we were initiated into understanding what's acceptable, what's love, how are we valued, does our opinion matter? Like, it's so much of it stems from our child.
Are we worthy? Do we have value?
So much of childhood stuff.
Yeah, lots of childhood abandonment issues.
Lots of childhood so many stuff. Things. But that inner child work is really about understanding, like, were you too much back then? And that's why you're quiet now, and that's why you accept and you allow and you just shut down and you stay small. That can be part of it. So uncovering how love was for you as a child. We're not going to get into the processes of this because, we're already at an hour and some minutes. But inner child work. The next one is boundary practice. You got to start small. So say you still want to be with the person and you still want to see the family members and you still want your job and your friendship. You need to start implementing boundary setting and start with small ones to start seeing how people react. I never say go big first, unless you really need to. But start with small boundary setting. Say no to them more often. Start saying no to things. Be like, they want to go out drinking at the bar till 2 a.m. Be like, no, I don't really want to do that. And then just, no is a full sentence, right? No.
No is a full answer.
No, thank you. That's it. And then just wait. Leave the air open and wait for them to respond. So much is going to be telling about what they say, because you say nothing but no, and they're not used to that. They'll be like, What do you mean no? No thanks, I don't want to. And then they're not even going to know what to say to you. They're just going to be like, no, you don't want to do that. Like, you don't want to spend time with me. Look at how they get defensive. That's going to be very telling about their own insecurities. They have bad boundaries too. It's not just, yeah. So we want to start practicing our boundary setting, but start small. Start with no. Start denying things.
Somatic awareness.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Tune into your body. Somatic means... You don't know? Okay. What's somatic? Explain somatic awareness. Is this when you tune into your body and what you're feeling?
I'm pretty sure it's your nervous system.
Oh, okay.
Somatic is to do with your nervous system.
Okay.
And of course you had to ask me what the word actually meant.
Tune into your body. Betrayal feels like contraction and heaviness and
burning, gut feelings,
anxiety. I remember just having like a constant anxiety.
It's tuning into what your nervous system is telling you.
Yeah.
Jittery,
listen
antsy,
to your body.
scared.
Healthy compromise feels expansive and lighter and calm and not like fear. Like the fear in the pit of your stomach.
Hesitant.
Yeah.
Like, I know when people invite me to do things I don't really want to do. Like, when I have to go out in big crowds, I don't really want to. I don't want to. I don't like eating out. My husband loves eating out. This is something I've worked on for the last, 12 years. I do not like eating out. I don't trust people with food. I don't think things are clean enough. I just have this whole mental block against them. I'm so afraid of getting food poisoning or something. So, I can feel it in my body when he's like, hey, you want to go out? And I'm always like, yeah, that is a lie. I am lying through my teeth. No, I don't want to go out. I want to stay home. I want you to cook for me, and I want to be at home. I'd rather eat food that I know we touched and nobody else did. But I've had to get used to being like, yeah, everything's been fine. So I've been doing this 12 years now, and I've actually never got food poisoning. So I'm starting to think that maybe I'm crazy, and I don't really have anything to fear. But I make sure that we don't go. So I have a limit of I'm not going to fucking dive bars and eating. I'm not eating at shitty places where I don't think that they have a separate grill for a veggie burger and a regular burger. If I have any problems with that, I'll be like, you can't take me there. So I have a standard for it, but
that's a boundary.
It's a boundary, and
That's
he
your
knows
boundary.
that.
Yeah.
He can go to all the places like Hooters and Wingstop and all the places like that with his other friends.
Sushi at the gas station.
Oh, you got me. Gas station food in general, absolutely not. Gas station coffee, absolutely not. No. So, yes. I call my husband the goat because he can literally digest anything and not feel it. I'm like, yeah, I'm the opposite. So, yeah, somatic awareness. So that's when when you're saying yes to something and you feel that light, happy feeling. You're like, yeah, I fucking love that place. Let's go. It's my favorite place to eat. Can we go out for tacos and tequila? Yes. That's my happy light. Yes, we know my favorite place. Next would be doing the shadow work. And of course, this really relates back to what witches think of witch practice is shadow work, because it's all over in our community. But shadow work is where you're exploring where you've been mistaken. Nope. Let me start over. Explore where you've mistaken betrayal for love or loyalty. Many women inherit this belief from their mothers and grandmothers who endured
erasure
in marriage, and
yeah, basically they were just diminished into
that's what I think of as template.
Yeah,
the template life.
So I feel like that's been my thing. That's what I saw modeled for me was my mother, being the 1960s housewife, waiting with the pitcher of martinis when her husband came home from work and all the kids were told to go to their rooms and not be heard for the rest of the night or whatever. That's what I saw modeled for me growing up. So she sacrificed, did all that stuff, and then I didn't have any other example to draw from. So I really feel like I've mistaken betrayal for love and loyalty in my own, to me I'm being loyal when really I'm betraying myself, betraying my own needs.
Because you think that staying quiet and small is being loyal.
Yeah.
And being worthy of love.
Yeah.
I had a totally different word come to mind and now I've lost it, but I think of devotion. I think of where people fake devotion for you, where it's like, I did this, but I was only thinking of you the whole time. I only thought of you. And it's like, none of your actions say that. So I also think of like the shadow work around where people's actions and words do not line up. Okay? That's what I think of, is like where you know there's been betrayal and yet their words are telling you like, no, but baby, I love you. Like,
we
I
call
would
that
never.
gaslighting today.
Yeah.
That's the new term for it.
Doing shadow work around those situations, because this goes back to like, why does this shit make you feel crazy? If it does, there's boundaries being crossed, because you're probably not crazy. Your intuition is telling you something and they're trying to convince you of something else.
Yeah.
The shadow work around that in those situations, whether they're past or present, can really help have better relationships now, because you'll see where you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Actions and words don't line up. Okay, I need to like step back and really look at this further. So I wrote that a little weird. I don't like it.
Okay, well, I like that explanation. I think you brought it.
Thank you.
Around to what
I was really thinking.
What you were really thinking about. Yeah.
I tried to write it all professional, and it was like, no, I need easier words than that.
And the last one is self-trust rituals. Use affirmations or spells to anchor your worth. Example: my needs are sacred. I do not abandon myself for false peace.
I think that's when we start planning our escape.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I think of. Because, like I said, a lot of times, in my own experience, women come to witchcraft when they're going through some really difficult shit, and they're ready for spells and rituals to change stuff. They are ready for a mindset change. They're ready for a shift. And this is where we get into it. It's so.
Well, what they don't realize, I think, is like that mindset. That's all this energetic shift that you're trying to, that you're craving, and that's what brings us here. So this is all energy work.
It's all energy work, which is why it's the very first module in our witch school. Because so many people think that like witchcraft is just about spells and things and doing and all of that, and it's
altars
not.
and pretty
Like,
altars and pretty witchy things. Yeah.
First, you need to know energy work, because that is where the core of your power comes from. It's where your strength. It's where you build your self-esteem. It's where you get to know all the parts of yourself, so that you can be sure when you do things, you don't have any questions about it. You'll be like, I know what the fuck I'm doing, because I know me, and this feels right for me. Yeah.
All right, witches. I think that's
a wrap.
That was kind of a lot.
I know, it was a lot.
That was a lot, and we know how difficult this topic is for people to deal with, for people to listen to, and for us to address. But
it's not easy to write about, and actually, like, I had to delete a lot of stuff from this because it could go on for hours. But what we're hoping that we gave you is somewhere to start. And if a friend of yours, another mom, a young woman needs to hear these things so that it can be explained through somebody else. Because sometimes when we hear shit from our family and our friends, we're like, yeah, you always say that. But when you hear it from a total stranger and it really hits and it clicks, you're like, oh, fuck, maybe that is it. Maybe that is maybe. Because what happens when we don't have good boundaries is that we start to believe other people's realities as our own reality. And so it's really hard for us to trust ourselves and say, wait, this isn't right. You know, because you've been told, no, that's not right. No, that's not right. You're crazy. You're overthinking it. You're doing all these things. So
you're dramatic.
You're dramatic. Yeah. You're on your cycle.
Are you on your period?
We had to bring that one up. They're going to use every excuse in the book to diminish our thoughts, feelings, desires, hopes, goals, and dreams so that they can get their way. And it is mine and Kat's job to make sure that shit don't happen to you or any other woman. So feel free to share this with anybody that you think that it could be helpful to. We love you guys so much. We care about you. And I swear, I wish we could have a huge powwow with all of the witches here. Just everyone sitting around sharing their story. Because I know you guys have stories like this that Kat and I shared. And it's like, damn, we put ourselves through it. But that's why we're going to have some kind of app where we all meet up in the woods and, in Georgia, Mom. We're going to Georgia.
All right, fine.
All right, love you, witches. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.